Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Another day, another concert. I'm about to go off and watch Westlife. I'm very, very excited. Last time I filmed a video, I was going off to watch the Spice Girls. It was amazing. Honestly, I honestly think it's one of the best days of my life. I had such a good time. It was amazing. I will talk about it more in another video that isn't this video. But yeah, I'm off to watch Westlife after this today. So Spice Girls yesterday, Westlife today, tomorrow, sleep. Today, this video, I'm going to be talking about the books that I've DNF'd so far this year. So I made this video for the first time last year in the middle of the year and talked about the videos that the books that I had stopped reading for one reason or another. Now there are 4 books this year that I have DNF'd, meaning I did not finish, so I've put down. One is a potential, I probably will pick it up again at some point, and the others are ones that I won't pick up again. What I will say is last year when I watched this video, these videos always get quite a lot of views because people love it when you fucking hate a book. But I've got to say, none of these I absolutely hated. It was more, I felt severe indifference to them, and I just felt like I didn't really want to waste much more of my time reading them. So there's probably not going to be any opinions in here that's going to upset anyone, which is good because I don't want to upset anyone. But yeah, 4 books this year that I've sort of put down, just not for me, and I won't be picking up again. So the first book, I've got all of my stats. I record all of my reading data on a spreadsheet provided by the wonderful and amazing Sophie from Portal in the Pages. And there is a function to record when you DNF a book. I've also got my favourite books of the year because I'll be filming that shortly as well, where I'll be filming my favourite books of the year so far. But I've marked out the books that I've DNF'd. So what I will say, before I talk about the first book that I DNF'd, I'm quite good at selecting books that I like. I'm getting much, much better at it, which is probably why there's only 4 books on this list that I did not finish. And I think, oh no, one of them is a book club book. So in terms of like, I pick all of my own reading apart from, I have a book club in real life whereby sort of books get put in the pot because people want to read them and things like that. And that's probably where quite a lot of my DNF comes from last year, and there is one from this year. And my other book club, my Patreon book club, I wouldn't DNF one of those books because I'm curating the book club and I'm asking lots of questions and I want to make it worth people's money. So yeah, a sort of place where I do DNF books is from my in real life book club. But yeah, so I got as far as the 29th of April this year and I hadn't DNF'd a book yet, which I feel like is pretty good going. And then the first one I DNF'd was The Secret Barrister, Stories of the Law and How It's Broken. This is written by The Secret Barrister, it's anonymous. I started listening to the audiobook of this, following on from how much I enjoyed This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. So This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay is a memoir of Adam Kay and his time as a junior doctor, and he wrote down diaries and cases that he was helping out in, like delivering babies and giving medical advice, and I loved it. It was hilarious, it was really sad, I was up and down the whole time. I read it and then I listened to the audiobook this year, and then I'm delighted to know that there's a Christmas book of that coming out this year by Adam Kay called The Night Shift Before Christmas. I really, really loved it. It was one of my favourite books of last year, adored it. So I went to The Secret Barrister with quite high hopes, thinking this was going to be a look at the justice system in Britain from someone's point of view, like Adam Kay's, whether it be scathing but with funny bits and heartwarming bits and things like that. And I just didn't get on with it. As I said, I listened to the audiobook of it, and quite early on, I think I'd been in for about an hour, and I was just like, nah, I'm not enjoying this. I feel like and I have only listened to the first hour, so I don't know how things improved or anything with that book. So, but I feel like the first case he was describing the way he was describing the person who was the criminal. It just felt a bit mucky to me. It just felt a bit like he was sort of looking down on him. I don't know if that. I didn't get to the end of that case, so I don't know what happened in it or anything like that. But yeah, for me, it just felt like it felt like he felt he was a lot better than this person. So that sort of made me a bit on edge as it was. And yeah, I was just not loving it. Will I go back to it? Nah, I don't think I will. But didn't enjoy it. Would be interested to find out if other people enjoyed it, and if those people that enjoyed it, did you also enjoy the Adam Kay book? Because that's how I got there, by enjoying the Adam Kay book. So that was the first book that I DNF'd, is The Secret The Secret Barrister, Stories of the Law and How It's Broken. And then the next book that I didn't finish is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Now, I was reading this for my book club in real life, and it took me a really long time to read. I was really reading like a lot of it every day and not getting through much. I haven't got the book here to show you, but it's really small text and feels like the majority of the page up. And David and I went to see this film last year for his birthday, actually, when we were on holiday in Cromer, and we both loved the film. And this is one of those very rare occasions where I feel like the film was better than the book. And in the book, I was just sort of like labouring through all of these sort of characters that I didn't really care for. And I feel like because I'd read the book as well, because I'd seen the film, I eventually knew where it was ending up. So I was sort of like skipping ahead in my mind. And yeah, I just didn't love the book, which was a shock to me because I thought I was going to really love it. And as I love the film so much, and then I didn't finish the book in time for book club, which again is unusual, but after that I just thought, well, there's no point in me carrying on with it if I'm not really enjoying it that much. I think I'll just put it down. So yeah, I didn't like it as much as the film, which is really uncommon for me. Let me know if you preferred the film or if you love the book. I know it's part of a trilogy. My plan was, I was like, oh great, I'll read the first book, then I'll move on. I was going to read the whole trilogy and I was going to enjoy it. And yeah, I just felt like there was too much sort of like side characters, and some of the fucking people in there were awful as well. And that doesn't always stop me reading the book. Like, I know I read many books with awful people in there, but yeah, some of them were just bloody awful. So yeah, that was the second book I DNF'd. I DNF'd that on the 2nd of May, so I feel like after I DNF'd my first book, like that was a I opened the floodgates then. I opened the floodgates. The next one I DNF'd was on the 22nd of May, and I've got that book here. I'm going to, I originally put it down thinking I'll come back to it, and I don't think I will, and that's Tentacle by Rita Indiana. This is a book that I did a buddy read with Lauren, Jen and Jean, and all of us were just like, nah, we don't understand what's going on here. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to come back to it. A lot of it was just going completely over my head. So it's got a super plot heavy book, and it moves so fast, considering I got to page, do you know what, I got to page 98, which is pretty, again, because the book's only 132 pages long. Like, I could have finished it, but I just it was that much, I couldn't get on with it. This is a translated fiction piece. I'll read you the back, because everything what I'm about to explain to you, I couldn't even put into words what it was about, so here we go. Plucked from her life on the streets of post-apocalyptic San Domingo, young maid Isilda Figueroa finds herself at the heart of a Santeria prophecy. Only she can travel back in time and save the ocean and humanity from disaster. But first she must become the man she always was, with the help of a sacred enemy. Tentacle is an electric novel with a big appetite and a brave vision, plunging headfirst into questions of climate change, technology, Uriba ritual, queer politics, poverty, sex, colonialism and contemporary art. Bursting with punk energy and lyricism, it's a restless, addictive trip. The Tempest meets the telenovela. And it was just so mad. I just couldn't keep up with what was going on. A lot of the time I wasn't sure what characters were who. I was sort of on board with what was going on with Isilda, who is the main character, who undergoes quite a sort of graphic sex change with the aid of a sea anemone. And I could sort of keep on board with that, but then there was lots of like outside characters, like just like this book is not long and it had so much going on and it was just too much for me. I'm not a big plot heavy person. I'm much more into character development, and if I am a plot heavy person, then I want it to be stretched over wonderful description and things like that, like for instance Harry Potter. This was just too quick for me, and I believe I do apologise for the light that's going on and off as we film this, because the light, I can see blue sky out that window, but out that window grey sky, so who knows what's happening. Then the last book I DNA'd, now this was a DNA'd, that's work, DNF. The last book I DNF'd was a real shock to me, but I also think it was partly to do with the fact that I knew that June Eyre was coming up. I've been reading books for June to do with Jane Eyre, and I didn't really want anything hanging over me, and I thought I'm gonna put this book down and come back to it at a time when I can give it more attention, because I read the first chapter of this in my first chapter video, which I will link down below, and I bloody loved it, and I wanted to read the whole book there and then. And weirdly, the book is Ponti by Charlene Teo, so I read the first chapter of this during my during the first chapter tag, thought it was fantastic, wanted to read it, didn't know, like was trying to pick between this and this, what was the other one? Oh, Things in Jars. And I thought, well, I'll read Things in Jars and then I'll go straight to this afterwards, which I did, but I feel like my head just wasn't in it. So this is one I'm definitely going to be returning to. So although I've said DNF, like I really mean like did not finish for now, but I've definitely put this down. But yeah, I was quite enjoying this. So this is telling, so as far as I got, you're following Suzu and her life, she's a child, and her life with her mother, who was in this series of horror films. And her mother never, her career never got off the ground after that. That was all that she did in her life. And Suzu and her mother, Amisa, haven't got a good relationship at all. And Suzu hasn't got a very good, just a life in general. She's really struggling to make friends at school, and people don't tend to like her. And she talks a lot about these films that her mother was in, because it seems like her home life is a lot about these films that her mother was in. And yeah, I will return to it. It just wasn't for me at the time. And yeah, so that's why I put it down. So those are the 4 books that I've DNF'd so far this year. It's not that many. Actually, I should have gone back and watched my other video. I will link my video of this from last year down below, because I think it was last year I hadn't read, I DNF'd about 9. So this is not many compared to how many I would normally DNF. I don't feel any guilt over DNFing books. I know a lot of people, when they start a book, they have to finish it. My mother being one. My mother, who is a reader that will read on holiday, so she'll go on holiday with my dad for a week, she'll read a book for a week, and then she'll put that book down until she goes on holiday again, like 4 months later, pick it up, and even if she's not enjoying it, she will absolutely force herself through this book. And I'm just not like that. I'm just, if I don't enjoy the book, or if there's something in me that I'm thinking, oh, I wish I could be reading something else, I've got so many fucking books. I've not got enough time to spend time dedicated to books that I am feeling indifferent about or not liking. So I feel no guilt with DNFing books, and I'm very happy to do so, and I'm very lucky that this year only 4 books have been DNF'd. So those are the 4 books that I've DNF'd this year so far. Let me know if you have DNF'd any books this year. Let me know what books let me know how you feel about not finishing books, and let me know if you enjoyed and loved any of these books, because I'd be really, really interested to find out if any of these are like your favourites. And I will see you all again soon for another book video. As I said, I will be filming my favourite books of the year so far this weekend, so that will be out at some point in the week. So looking forward to sharing those with you, and I'll see you all again soon for another booktube video. I'm off to Westlife now. Bye!